Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Eastern Conference Finals semifinal matchup between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders. We will be reviewing this series in this video. So let's get right into it. And very interesting. And I kind of told you guys, I've been pretty good with the Islanders predictions. I predicted the Islanders would win all the series that they played. I had them beating Pittsburgh. All you said, how can you go against Malkin and Crosby? They beat them. Oh, second round Boston. Oh, they can't beat Boston. No, this is a bad matchup, this and that. Okay, they beat them in 6-2. I called that one. And I said this series, if the Islanders, what's up, Dustin? If the Islanders were going to win this series, they would have to win this series in 6 games. And that didn't happen. The Tampa Bay Lightning win this series. It was a great series by both teams. Now, obviously, as an Islander fan, that's part of the equation, but I'm going to be as civil as I can be. I do like the Tampa Bay Lightning. Since the last 2 years, I really haven't liked them as much because they beat up my number one team. So, it's a little bit hard to like the Lightning right now, but I do like Hedman. I do like Stamkos, even though I was part of the people screaming, fuck you, Stamkos, in Game 6. I do like Steven Stamkos, and he is a big reason I liked the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then they started winning too much, and against my Islanders, it's hard to cheer for them. But that's besides the point. This was a series going in. Everybody said Tampa's going to win this series. Easy. And some people who had somewhat of a brain realized that this was not going to be that easy of a series. You look at last season, the Islanders took the Tampa Bay Lightning pretty much to the brink. You look at their series that they had a sweep, won it in 5, won it in 6, but in regulation, and then in the Stanley Cup Final, please get off the New York Islander logo. In the Stanley Cup Final against Dallas, that ended up being the best series they had last year, was against the New York Islanders, who took them to double overtime in Game 5 and in overtime in Game 6. So this isn't that much of a surprise. The Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup Playoffs have not been in an elimination game in almost 2 years. That is just crazy to believe. But you look what happened tonight, and we saw exactly what, honestly, kind of what I was expecting. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for the Islanders. So we're going to recap this part of the series. So we're going to start off with Game 1. And the New York Islanders shocked the world, winning Game 1 in Tampa Bay by a score of 2-1. This was a perfect game by the Barry Trotz, Lou Lamoriello's New York Islanders. They win this game. They're up 2-0 for the most part. You could hear a pin drop in Amalie Arena through most of that game. 31 shots each team. Matt Barzal, the first goal of this series. Ryan Pulock scored his 4th of the postseason. And now at the time, Tampa Bay, throughout the entire playoffs at that point, the first 2 series, their defense had not scored a goal. And the only real guys that were getting opportunities for Tampa in this game were guys like David Savard and guys from out toward the top, Alex Killorn. If you're the New York Islanders, you want those guys shooting the puck, not guys like Kucherov and Stamkos and, of course, Victor Hedman. Brayden Point would score a goal late in the final minute with the goalie pulled, making it 2-1, making it an interesting game. But the Islanders prevail, and they win Game 1, 2-1. Now, going into Game 2, this was, you don't want to say a must-win for Tampa Bay, but going back to Long Island, you knew you didn't want to go down 2-0. And the Tampa Bay Lightning responded. Brayden Point, once again, continuing his unbelievable playoff run. He gets his 10th of the postseason, his 2nd of the series. Brock Nelson scoring, coming up big, tying the game at 1. And that would be the score after 1. Andre Palat, Jan Rutta, and Victor Hedman. Not good news for the Islanders, seeing the defense getting on the board there in the 2nd with Rutta and Hedman. Those were the 2 first goals for defensemen throughout the entire Stanley Cup playoffs for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not good news for the Islanders. But again, we see Matt Barzal get on the board, his 2nd goal of the series, 2 in consecutive games, and his 5th of the postseason. But unfortunately, it was not enough, and the Tampa Bay Lightning would win this one 4-2. Now, Game 3 was a pretty big game here for the New York Islanders. Coming back home, losing Game 2, how would they respond? The Tampa Bay Lightning were the better team. 28-25 were the shots in favor of the Islanders, but again, it doesn't matter how many shots you get. It's how many goals go past the goaltender. And the Tampa Bay Lightning outdid the Islanders in that category. Yanni Gourde scoring his third of the postseason. And once again, Braden Point getting the second goal that ended up being the game winner. A 2-1 win there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Cal Clutterbuck did get on the board for the Islanders. But again, lack of goal scoring. That's what we've talked about for the Islanders really since Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz have come in. And that becomes an issue in Game 3. They lose this one at home. And now it's almost a must-win for the Islanders. You cannot go back to Tampa Bay for Game 5 down 3-1. The Islanders could not do that. And they responded. Probably their best game of this series. They win by a score of 3-2. A great game by the New York Islanders. They find a way just to win the damn hockey game. They, tied the Lightning in shots again, 30-30. Josh Bailey, Matt Barzal, and Matt Martin, his first of the postseason. That ended up being the game winner. And the Tampa Bay Lightning would respond in the third period. 2 quick goals in the third by Braden Point once again and Tyler Johnson. They would cut it to a 3-2 game, but that would not matter. It was a win for the Islanders. Ryan Pulock with that great play at the end. We already reviewed this game in another video. But really, a great game overall by the Islanders. They find a way to prevail. Game 5, this was the game. I hate to say it, this was the game because the Islanders didn't show up at all. I remember listening to the game, and they went down 3-0 pretty early, and it was like, yeah, they're not winning this game. So it was one of those things. The Islanders just could not get it done. And the more alarming thing was the big boys for the Lightning were getting on the board other than Braden Point. Steven Stamkos got his 6th of the postseason. Yanni Gourde, Alex Killorn, Steven Stamkos again, Andre Palat, Alex Killorn, 2-goal game for him. Braden Point once again scores in this series. He has scored a goal, I think, in the past 9 games at this point. Absolutely unbelievable. What a postseason by Braden Point. And fucking Luke Schenn gets a goal for the Lightning. Luke Schenn? Come on, guys. Not good. His first of the postseason. And he steps in, obviously taking over from Eric Chernak, who had a very gory, bloody-looking elbow in Game 4. He would miss Game 5. And Luke Schenn, he did a great job replacing him. And then we get to Game 6. It was a great atmosphere at the Coliseum. And to say I was at the last game at Nassau Coliseum now, it was incredible. It was really incredible. I almost missed the overtime goal, though. Belmont, please have enough bathrooms, because if I missed that goal, would not have been a good night. But the Islanders didn't start that game on time. They did not play well in the first period. They go down 1-0. Who else? Braden Point again. He scores once again. It was a little bit of a lucky bounce, but he beat Adam Pelech along the boards in the back. Thanks, Dustin, as well as beating Pelech in front of the net. And it was good play there as well by Anthony Cirelli, moving the puck around. But at the end of the day, Tampa Bay Lightning, they get the goal. So they're up 1-0. Anthony Cirelli, this was such a just frustrating point in the game. The Islanders have a 5-on-3 power play. And what do? Kyle Palmieri gets about 2 or 3 opportunities, and he misses the net wide. And the Islanders look like shit. It's like, oh, man. And Nick Leddy, terrible assignment. He loses his guy, Anthony Cirelli. Cirelli walks right past him. And he walks in on a semi-breakaway, puts it right past Varley, 2-0 Tampa. And in that building, it was pin drops. It was pretty much, the nail in the coffin, it looked like, for the Islanders. If Tampa Bay, if Stamkos or Hedman or one of those guys come down and score, the series was over. It was at that point. But to give credit to Varley, he stood on his head the rest of the game. And it was one of those things where it was one of those goals where it's like, you need a save there. And the Islanders did not get that save from Varley. But the Islanders would respond. Jordan Eberle, just less than 3 minutes later, cuts it to a 2-1 lead. And the Islanders fans reawaken. And that's exactly what the Islanders needed. They get some confidence going into the locker room that they actually can score on Andrei Vasilevskiy. Believe it or not, if you shoot the puck, you can actually score goals. Crazy, I know. I should get paid for that. So now we get to the third period. And it was a little bit of a back and forth, but you could tell the Islanders, they were in desperation mode. This could potentially be their last game at the Cowie. They're defending their home in front of their home fans. You knew they were going to come out in the third period. They were going to need some pucks to go their way. They were going to need some opportunities. They were going to have to play a pretty much perfect third period. They kind of did exactly that. A little over halfway into the third period, Scott Mayfield, an absolute snipe. Unbelievable goal by the goon defenseman Scott Mayfield. I remember him in Bridgeport, and then he got called up by Snow just a couple days later. So they grow up so fast. But that will be the tying goal, and the Islanders tie the game at 2, and we are going to overtime. Exactly what you wanted, right? And like I said, I almost missed the goal. I was waiting in those bathroom lines. Pretty close. I got there right before the puck dropped. So good timing there, and it worked out. And it was perfect. 1 minute and 8 seconds into overtime. The Islanders play the dump and chase. Blake Coleman gets the puck. I think it was from either Josh Bailey or Anthony Beauvillier. He gets the puck, and what does he do? He puts the puck right in the middle, right to Anthony Beauvillier, and he's like, oh, okay, thank you. Beauvillier kind of keeps the puck away from Hedman, and he gets the shot off. A great shot by Beauvillier. Not sure why Vazzy didn't get that, but it doesn't matter. The Islanders, it was unbelievable. That was, I have to say, I've been to a lot of Islander games, and that is the best game I'd ever been to. And that was huge. Beauvillier, who hadn't scored in 11 postseason games. He has not scored since game 1 of the second round when they were up in Boston. That was the last time we saw Bo get on the board. He scores a huge goal. And, looking now, he sent the Coliseum out in the most perfect way, besides lifting the cup at the Coliseum. So now it's Game 7. And the New York Islanders know they have to play another perfect game, and they had to score first. They had to score first. Everybody's been talking about it. The Islanders play better when they're ahead. And we saw that as an issue, and Tampa may have found the kryptonite of the New York Islanders by the end of this series. Even though they were getting a little worn down, especially in Game 5 and Game 6, they were just able to keep going. And that's what we saw happen in Game 7. Yanni Gourde scores a short-handed goal, the only goal of this Game 7, 1 minute and 49 seconds into the second period, and the Tampa Bay Lightning get their game winner. Yanni Gourde, his 5th of the postseason, a short-handed goal, and the New York Islanders would not get a goal in Game 7. Very frustrating game as a New York Islander fan. And it just goes into what everybody's been saying, that the New York Islanders don't have enough scoring, they don't have enough depth, this and that. It just plays right into that narrative. And you know what? I'm a little bit salty right now, I'm not going to lie. I broke a wall, so I'm right there with you guys. But congratulations to the Lightning on a great playoff series once again. No, I will not be cheering on the Lightning in the Stanley Cup Final. Not because of salt, but I like what I've seen from Montreal throughout this playoffs. And let's be honest, I don't want to see Tampa win the Cup 2 years in a row. Come on, you had your Cup last year. So, to wrap it up, at the end of the day, we know what we were going to get in this series. 2 really good teams that, let's be honest, the Islanders were never given a chance. Once again, they weren't supposed to make the playoffs this year. They weren't supposed to beat Malkin and Crosby. They weren't supposed to beat Bergeron, Taylor Hall, and the big bad Bruins. They beat those guys in 6. And then they took Tampa to 7 when everybody said, oh, Bolts in 4, Bolts in 5, Bolts in... Okay, all right. It took 7 games. And let's be honest, I mean, Montreal has a chance to do something here in the final. I wish them the most luck. But this is the biggest test that the Tampa Bay Lightning will see in the Stanley Cup Playoffs this year. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below of this series. Like I said, congrats to Tampa Bay. And we're going to be seeing you guys in the Stanley Cup Playoffs next year, I can promise you. And hopefully we'll see a different result. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and the rest of the Stanley Cup Playoffs coverage here for the 2021 Stanley Cup Playoffs, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. and an even bigger subscribe down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.